Welcome everybody to the MyLivingCity Sustainable Community Showcase. And before I begin, I would like to acknowledge with respect the Uxwiin speaking people whose traditional territory we stand on, and the Songhees and the Esquimalt and the Westneck people whose historical relationship with the land continue to this day. Now today, we'll just complete this introduction and then we'll have some amazing presenters that will show us what they're up to in the community. We'll have some short breakout sessions. Then we'll have a larger group discussion, and then we'll complete with some final comments. And the event will end at 1 p.m. today. Now, what sustainability? So that's what the evening's about. And again, there's a lot of things that come to mind when we look at sustainability. So just to give you a context of how we're framing sustainability, I'll just invite you to look at the Living Community Challenge. So in my mind, it's really what covers community sustainability the most. And when you look at it, it's got a whole bunch of segments, everything from habitat protection. We're definitely looking at energy and water and having that be renewable, regenerative, definitely having healthy materials and make sure that they're sustainably harvested. But the other aspect we have is also the people aspect. How do we make healthy communities, healthy neighborhoods? How do we make our communities resilient? How do we make sure we care for each other, that we have universal access and rights? And just organization and quality of life, as well as in that frame, we'll look at projects all across this matrix. And our presenters today will start off with Georgia Lavender of Synergy Foundation. And then we'll have Lindsey Boyle talking to us about the Sandown Center for Regenerative Agriculture. Then myself, I'll discuss to you the community discussion platform that MyLivingCity is putting together. And Ruddy will talk to us about Rising Above Plastic from the Surfrider Foundation of Vancouver Island. And we'll have Chad Thiessen from Futures Forward talk to us about his project up in Nanaimo of how to make a sustainable community. We'll have Professor Rishi Gupta from UVic talk to us about permeable landscaping projects. We'll have Thomas Hackney from the Victoria chapter of the BC Sustainable Energies Association. We'll have Carolyn Thibault with the NOLA project, as well as Corey Kessler from the Verks Walking Gardens. All right, first up is Georgia.
All right, thank you for the introduction, Nick, and good afternoon, everybody. I'm Georgia Lavender. I'm the Manager of Program Operations with the Synergy Foundation. We are a Victoria-based nonprofit. I'm really excited to have the opportunity to share with you today our organization and the purpose of our work. So at the Synergy Foundation, our mission is to share ideas, spark innovation, and activate change to steer our communities and economy to a more regenerative future. To work towards this mission, we have our 3 core programs: the Vancouver Island Green Business Collective, the Food Eco District, and Project Zero. So starting with the Vancouver Island Green Business Collective, this project is all about supporting businesses who are looking to reduce their environmental footprint and expand on sustainability initiatives. So obviously working with businesses located all across Vancouver Island and focusing on our small business community. So through the Green Business Collective, we call it VIGBC for short, otherwise it's a bit of a mouthful. We work with 5 different types of business sectors, including offices, retailers, restaurants, spas and salons, and fleet sectors. From there, a verifier will conduct a site visit with these participating businesses and work through sector-specific checklists with assessment areas that include their building operations, waste, water, transportation, purchasing of products, climate action, and social impact. So we're really looking at a holistic view of each business, identifying opportunities for where they're currently, really leading the way in sustainability, and then finding opportunities for them to help improve their sustainability efforts. We currently have 120 members across Vancouver Island. So as consumers, to engage with VIGBC, really encouraging you to shop your values. So by shopping with members who are certified with VIGBC, you're not only supporting your local economy, which is so important, but you're also supporting businesses in our community who are really striving to make a positive impact on the environment. So when you are, shopping and looking to support these businesses, on our website, we have a directory of all of our members. You can also look for these decals in the business window. So as businesses are certified, they'll be certified either silver, gold, or green based on the number of sustainability actions that they're achieving. So it's a really great kind of visual cue of this member is really, working on environmental improving their environmental footprint. You'll also notice we have this Surfrider decal. So some businesses are certified with Surfrider as well. Through this program, we have specific questions on each checklist that are all focused around eliminating single-use plastics. So if a business achieves all of those, they get the Surfrider decal as well. If you head to our website, you will see this little map under our directory. So it's a really great interactive map where you can go and look for whatever type of business you're after, whether you're looking for somewhere to go out for dinner or maybe somewhere to get your hair cut or massage. You can filter out which sector you're looking at and then find businesses in your area. And you can also see what their sustainability initiatives are. So on our directory, you'll find a lot of familiar faces, including Big Wheel Burger, Anion, Cascadia Liquor, and Vancity Credit Union. So with BIGBC, you can also follow us on social media and sign up for our newsletter to hear updates about all of these awesome members and what they're doing to lead the way in small business sustainability. Our next core project is Project Zero. So this is an initiative focused on bringing circular economy concepts to the West Coast. Currently, only 9% of our world is circular, and that means that all remaining 91% of our goods are linear, and they end up in our landfills, oceans, and pollution at the end of life. So we're looking to shift away from that model. So brings us to our circular economy model, which Project Zero is all about, increasing awareness in the circular economy and bringing these concepts to the island. In an equitable circular economy, resources and manufactured goods are designed to remain in the system through innovation, reuse and repair, redistribution, reconditioning, and recycling processes, all of which are powered with renewable energy. So as a result, pollution and waste is designed out of the system. And these innovations enable affordable lifestyles and empower new ventures that create green jobs for the future. One of the areas of work that we do with Project Zero is our incubator program. So this is a free 8-month program for entrepreneurs who have a business idea in the circular economy. Through this program, entrepreneurs will work on developing their business plan and pitches, learning about operations and fundamentals and entrepreneurial skills, and building connections. 2021 is our 3rd year of the incubator program. On our website, you can learn about all of our businesses that have gone through the program. And if you are somebody who has an idea in the circular economy, our applications for our 2022 cohort will be opening later this fall, so keep an eye out on our social media for that. We do also have a lot of resources available on our website in regards to the circular economy. So we do have a short circular economy video, which I definitely encourage you to go check out. It's a little 5-minute educational clip that our team has put together. We have circular economy graphics and descriptions, which can be used for different educational purposes. And then we have free waste audit tools that allow you to track and manage your waste diversion. Also on our social media, we like to share lots of updates on circular economy resources, businesses, podcasts, and documentaries. Another resource that we have up on our website is a database of circular economy solutions for Victoria consumers. So whether you're looking for some refill solutions, some sharing opportunities with the sharing economy, or maybe you're looking for some local repair solutions, you can find all of that on our website. And then our last core program here, we have FED, our Food Eco District. So this one is all about increasing food awareness and community engagement on the Greater Victoria region. So FED is focusing on urban agriculture, food security, and sustainable dining. So some of their projects with FED includes MyFed Farms. You may have heard of this one more recently. This is one of our newest kind of projects with FED. So this was launched in response to COVID last year. And MyFed Farms is all about providing startup food gardens to individuals who are experiencing food insecurity in our community. So in 2020, we provided over 500 homes with these startup food gardens. You can see the picture in the bottom left there. They'll get these planters, plant starts, and then a variety of seeds, helping them grow their own food and also just creating really good kind of mental health benefits as well. So we are running this program again in 2021. It's actually just launching in a couple weeks here. So we are looking to provide another 500 homes in our region with startup food gardens. So there's a variety of ways to get involved with that program. I'll chat about more in just a moment here. We have our Urban Learning Garden, which is located at the downtown library in Victoria. So this is really kind of a placemaking space where people can go to. We have a variety of biodiverse gardens there for people and pollinators alike. We can go and kind of learn about these plant species in our region. And then we have our sustainable dining district. So these are restaurants located in our Fed district downtown, and they're all restaurant members who are focused on sustainability. And then one of our more recent programs as well, Street to Sky. So this is really aiming to help developers, landowners, and strata corporations and urban food growers connect and explore best practices and common risks often associated with urban agriculture. So we do have detailed guides for both landowners and farmers on how to go about urban growing. So a variety of ways to get involved with FED. You can go to our website. We are looking for volunteers for My Fed Farms right now. We're also running a crowdfunding campaign for FED, helping to raise funds to provide these gardens. And if you are someone who is living with food insecurity, you can apply to receive a garden. So a variety of ways with My Fed Farms to get involved. You can dine in our food eco district or purchase a gift card from one of our restaurant members. I know this has been a really tough year. A lot of them can use that support as well. Visit the Urban Learning Garden down at the Victoria Library, and also signing up for the FED newsletter to stay up to date on workshops and other events that are happening. So overall, as a foundation, we do kind of run those 3 core programs. We have a lot going on. So encourage you to check out our website. From there, it'll send you to the different program websites as well. And following us on social media, opportunities to sign up for all of the newsletters for whichever is of most interest. So that kind of concludes my little presentation there. So I'll pass it back to you, Nick.
All right, thank you, Georgia. All right, Lindsey, you're next.
Okay, thank you so much for the introduction, Nick. And I'm going to talk about the Sandown Centre for Regenerative Agriculture, which is a partnership project between the District of North Saanich and the University of the University of Victoria and Vancouver Credit Union. So I'm going to start with what Sandown Centre for Regenerative Agriculture is. It's a mouthful, so we often refer to it as SCRA. But I want to just introduce myself in this picture, and Jen Rashley, who was the other co-founder of Sandown Centre and is now the executive director, and I'm the board president. And I just want to be really clear that I am not a farmer. And I'm a strategist who really cares about where my food comes from. And before I go any further, I want to tell you a little story. I grew up in North Saanich, and I have a real connection to this place where Sandown is. And I remember there used to be a racetrack there, a horse racetrack. And I would go there when I was little. And I remember one day my cousin won $13, and it was the best day of my 6-year-old life. But fast forward to 2019, and I met Jen, and she asked me if I wanted to team up to create a proposal in response to the District of North Saanich's call for submissions to support local food production. And I actually teared up. It was an emotional response because I saw the opportunity for us to move from individual gain to something where the whole community benefits and wins, and a chance for North Saanich to move from a literal loop in a racetrack towards a local circular economy, as Georgia so nicely defined. And really a chance to take some pretty compacted, damaged soil because of years of cars parking on it and horses and buildings being on top of it, and really regenerate the ecosystem connected to this 83 acres, including a stream that runs into the ocean and the home of the Sakem First Nations. So in 2020, our innovative collaborative proposal was chosen over 7 other proposals, mostly representing commercial food growing businesses. And this is our first growing season and really our first startup season. So just a really kind of geographical orientation. Sandown Center is about 5 minutes from the ferry terminal. It's just north of Sydney and right off the Pat Bay Highway. And we have a 10-year lease with the District of North Saanich. And so these arrows show everything that's planned for the site. And you can see where we're locating the incubator plots for our first farmpreneurs. And that is the most ready to farm piece of land in the front there. And then in the northern part, you can see the outline of the racetrack, or at least I hope you can see it. And that racetrack was there for 50 years. So that land is certainly going to need quite a bit longer to be regenerated as that soil is quite damaged. And that's really our work, is to bring that back into quality for food growing. So I'm also just gonna explain very, very briefly at a high level, because again, I'm not a farmer, what regenerative agriculture is. So I'm just going to say that it is really these principles and very much a localized set of practices. And together they represent a paradigm shift away from traditional agriculture that competes with nature, disturbs the soil, is often monocultures, so growing only one thing in big quantities, and also very input-based. It's also really important for me to recognize that this is not a new idea or owned by anyone. In fact, a lot of what regenerative agriculture is really traditional ways of keeping nature in balance. So just for any visual learners, this is a wonderful graphic from Kiss the Ground, which is a nonprofit in the US that's very focused on raising awareness of regenerative agriculture. So now I'm going to talk about why we're doing what we're doing. So again, staying very strategic and high level, just to explain, why is it that, Jen and I saw the opportunity for what we're doing. And it was these three things, and we'd never worked together before. So these really helped define what our shared purpose was. And it is still what guides our board and our staff team today. So the first one is climate change. I can't see everyone, but I would love, if you have seen this movie, please put your hand up. It is a wonderful movie. I really think it's a fantastic way to learn about what we're doing. According to Kiss the Ground again, industrial agriculture is a key generator of greenhouse gas emissions and contributes between 30 to 50% of total global emissions. And that's because of the use of chemical fertilizers, pesticides, heavy machinery, refrigeration, again, monocropping, and deforestation, refrigeration needed, and also food waste. So regenerative agriculture really helps avoid a lot of those greenhouse gases, but it also helps us adapt to climate change, because healthy soil is soil that stays in place when there's an adverse weather event, as we're having more and more from climate change. And so the scene in the Biggest Little Farm that I'll always remember is a flooding that happened in their California area that literally pulled the topsoil off of all of the neighboring farms. But because they were growing regeneratively, their topsoil stayed in place and they were able to continue farming without any real adverse effects to their farm. So just a real case for climate change adaptation that we really need to protect our local food supply. The next,
last minute, Lindsey.
Okay, great. I'll focus on empowering the next generation of farmers. Really, most farmers are retiring in British Columbia and on Vancouver Island. And so a major why for us was to create a program that overcame the barriers for people getting into farming. So we provide access to land for our farmpreneurs, but we also give them business skills that allow them to run an entrepreneurial food business. And that's really important for the future and attracting people to want to grow food for our island. There's so many benefits of regenerative agriculture. There's a real emerging science around taste and health being superior, and we're starting to test that with a new meter that we've bought for Sandown, and we're going to contribute to the growing body of evidence that this is the healthiest and tastiest food that you can buy. And just how to get involved. We're just getting started. I think the fastest way is to go to our website, and you can help us work on the biodiversity of our site by pulling out ivy and adopting a patch. And also look out for coming events like long table dinners when it's safe, COVID safe, and also next year's Grow Your Own Food course. So look out for that by either going to our website or getting in touch with me, and I'll put you in touch with the right people. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Lindsey. All right, and I'm up next. So let me just share my screen. All right, so again, I'm Nick LeBlanc, Executive Director of MyLivingCity. All right. And who we are, we're a nonprofit based in Victoria, and we really are out to use technology at the service of the community. And we really feel that sustainability through community action is really what's going to work. And what is our goal? Really is to create a community-built discussion platform, really the tools where people can come together and actually have those conversations that make a difference. So what are the key ingredients of having this kind of conversation actually work? Is we need to have openings for action. You really need to be able to gauge what people are thinking, what they agree with. We, again, are in a world of social media. So really having this conversation connected to social media, have a social media-like platform, and really create a space for collaboration and not so much just a soapbox or a place to voice one's opinion. You want a space for ideation where people can bring ideas and people can play with other people's ideas. And it's really important to work within the municipal boundaries, really work with those groups that actually have control or manage our built environment. And another great principle too is the network of networks, right? Within our municipalities, we also have smaller groups that will work together, as well as municipalities sharing information, really learning from each other. So our pathway, so we've had this idea back in 2017, and as you can see with the curvy arrows, it took some while as we figured out where to go with this, and we created a nonprofit back in 2018, MyLivingCity. We had a Nerd Jam design competition or workshop in 2019. So if anybody's worked with the Victoria Design Nerds, just an awesome group. We had 30 people in the room with how do you create this kind of platform, and some amazing ideas came out of that. And we took all that and we went to Camosun College and got assigned a team to their capstone project. So this group of students finishing off a 2-year program on computer science, and they actually started building it for us. So we've gone through them a couple times. Right now we're finishing a co-op term, so we've been really lucky to have an amazing student really putting this thing together, and some great industry support to help mentor some of our students. So that's what we've been going. And what our next step is, we've got another student team starting in a week. And out of this term, which completes in August, we will be releasing in May a beta release, so people can actually start playing with the application. And we're really looking to have a production release in September where we can actually put it out to the wider public and it will actually be fully functional. And again, we'll still have our mentorship. We've been really lucky to have NTT data really helping our students, and hoping to have some other people help us. And what are some of the opportunities? So really at the point we're at is anybody who wants to be a beta tester, that wants to try this out, give some feedback, anybody who's a developer, designer that wants to work with some students or do some work. We're really at the point we'll need some community moderators pretty soon to help really manage these conversations to make sure they stay on track and give some community support. I'd love to find what I like to call community agitators, people that want to see something happening in their community and want to be on the team and really help us to bring this platform where it can make a difference. And really any kind of volunteer. So I really like to call this name your adventure. What are you good at? What do you want to do? What do you want to learn? And let's find something that that will work with that, because we've got a grand vision and really we'll need a big team to really bring that out. And here is our contact info, so our website and our email. So if anybody's interested to join us or hear more, please check us out. All right, next up is Ali Ruddy of Surfrider. So Ali, you.
Okay, thanks. Hello, I'm Ali Ruddy, the Rise Above Plastics Program Lead for Surfrider Foundation Vancouver Island, or SFVI for short. So Surfrider Foundation Vancouver Island is a grassroots nonprofit organization with a mission that is dedicated to the protection and enjoyment of our oceans, waves, and beaches for all people through a powerful activist network. We've been operating in Victoria since 2006. We are a volunteer-run organization made up of a community of passionate activists ranging from ocean recreators to academics to working professionals of all ages. Our vision is to protect 100% of the southern Vancouver Island coastline. SFVI is a part of an international network run by the Surfrider Foundation, originally established in Malibu, California, in 1984 by a group of surfers who were concerned about the environmental threats at Surfrider Beach. Growing to 84 chapters and 40 clubs across the globe, SFVI is one of 3 chapters working alongside Pacific Rim and Vancouver to protect the Pacific Northwest coast in Canada. Our chapter has 5 barrels of focus that were established by the Surfrider Foundation: plastic pollution, clean water, beach access, coastal preservation, and ocean protection. Our chapter acts on these 5 issues through the following programs: Rise Above Plastics and beach cleanups, Blue Water Task Force, and ocean-friendly businesses. Our Rise Above Plastics program is an education and outreach program designed to eliminate the impacts of plastics in marine environments by raising awareness about the dangers of plastic pollution and advocating for solutions that reduce single-use plastics. We currently have a number of campaigns and projects on the go. The Solidified Oil Spill Project, there's volunteers that have been monitoring pre-consumer plastic production pellet spills from the Lower Mainland and have raised awareness about the problem of them showing up on Vancouver Island's beaches. The Plastic Free Schools Project, the goal is to eliminate single-use plastics in schools by role modeling sustainable practices and providing alternatives to teachers and students. The Debris Project, using CBIN technology, this project recently launched in November 2020 to convey the impacts of single-use plastics, marine debris, plus micro and macro plastics in marina environments. Currently, we have 3 floating garbage bins now in use at the North Saanich Marina and are conducting student and citizen science research on the debris that's gathered. The Ban the Bag campaign, after many years of lobbying, there are now bylaw victories in Victoria, Esquimalt, and Saanich. And our chapter has been working with local residents and retail businesses to mobilize support for a ban on the distribution of single-use plastic bags across the CRD. The Hold On to Your Butt campaign, we are working to reduce cigarette butt litter in the streets and on beaches, raise awareness about the environmental impact, and advocate for better enforcement of littering laws. Many ash cans have already been installed in private and public properties throughout the Victoria area. The Beyond Bioplastics project aims to gain a more comprehensive understanding of the issues surrounding compostable and biodegradable plastics and work with businesses and government agencies to discuss better solutions. Our beach cleanups. Through strong and consistent beach cleanup and data collection efforts, we work to develop a data set that helps inform the public about the types of marine debris and garbage found locally. All of the debris is sorted, recycled, and disposed of properly. Well, normally a fun and exciting way of generating public interest, this past year has been an exception. Typically, we hold monthly beach cleanups at different locations around the South Island and with various groups such as businesses, students, and other nonprofit organizations. Surfrider Canada has teamed up with the Marine Debris Tracker app to make it easier than ever to log your own solo beach cleanup data and share the data with us to help with tracking. And our Blue Water Task Force program is a citizen science water testing program that provides critical water quality information to raise awareness of local pollution problems and protect public health. We measure bacterial levels at beaches around Victoria and compare those results to water quality standards set by the BC Ministry of Environment. 20 sites are sampled on a periodic basis. We're currently sampling 5 to 10 sites every 2 weeks. Our Ocean Friendly Business Program is a joint certification program with the Vancouver Island Green Business Collective that recognizes Vancouver Island businesses as ocean-friendly businesses through completing actions that focus on single-use reductions, plastic reductions. So there's many different avenues to get involved if you're interested in making waves, and also various ways to support our chapter. Thank you for your time. If you're interested in discussing or learning more on anything I touched upon, please contact me or our website, Surfrider Foundation, Vancouver Island.
Yes, thank you, Ali. I was going to say, Chad Thiessen, you're next with Futures Forward. So I see that your slides up.
Ta-da! I'm all ready. Thanks for joining me. I'd like to tell you a bit about Futures Forward and what we consider to be regenerative community. And this is something we've been practicing all over the world, but it started here on Vancouver Island. So let's take a little trip. If my slides will advance. There we go. You've all heard about social, economic, and environmental as being the 3 legs of the sustainability stool. What I was rather surprised to discover as we took this journey throughout Africa and Indonesia and Australia and all these other countries is that everything comes back to social. If you want strong economics, you need strong social skills and infrastructure. I didn't quite expect that. And I didn't realize that with strong social values, benefits to the environment are the automatic result. So even though the requests we get from all these various countries all come from a different point of view, we always try to slowly work back to the social. Most of our projects in Africa are always asking about economic benefits and give us money and give us economic programs. But ultimately, without the strong social values and skills in the community, those efforts fail. So it's really got to be about working with that community for that community. Our local project is just south of Nanaimo in Cedar, and it has the name of Austin Greens. It's 8.5 acres that the local First Nations elders kindly offered us a name in Hulkaminum, and that name is Sa'alstum Uxwiin Shxunutun, which Sa'alstum means something shown great care and respect, and Uxwiin Shxunutun means small footprint, which is essentially what we're trying to do. We're about helping people live the life they love while saving the planet. A lot of people think this means that you have to live in some kind of mud hut, in some kind of cult, and, with a bunch of hippies. It's not like that at all. This is very modern living focused on community. It doesn't require excessive sacrifice or any sacrifice at all in many cases, because with the right infrastructure, you have everything you need to live fully. So a hyper-insulated house, you don't need to spend a lot of money on energy to heat it. When you have a passive solar sun space on the front, on the south side of your building, you can grow food inside, you can hang out with your friends, you can heat and cool your house, all sorts of really interesting things. I actually thought that to live this way, you'd have to have short showers. And I was very excited to discover you can have recirculating showers. I was like, oh my God, I didn't want to give up my showers. Well, now I don't have to. So all these little pieces of technology and social wisdom, often drawn from Indigenous wisdom, our own roots, whether it's a European root or a First Nations root, the wisdom that is there is just being brought back up to the surface. And ultimately, we're looking to become self-sufficient and resilient. We will grow our own food, generate our own energy, capture our own water, and manage our own wastes. It's not that hard. I was shocked at how easy it is. So let's take a look at the map of the property of the development plan. This is the environmental principles map. And I'll show you the financial and the social later, but you'll realize it's the same map. It just highlights different buildings in different ways. When you look at this, you see there's solar panels on the roofs of everything. Those dark gray squares, solar panels, tons of solar panels. Those same roofs also capture all the rainwater, which is then processed and treated to make sure it's perfect, high quality drinking water. So this property will not need to connect to the city for water, sewer, electricity, anything except for internet, because I'm not giving up my internet. Maybe I'm the only one. This is the social map, same map, but you start realizing that the design of the community is in small little pocket neighborhoods, and it's designed to have attractive community spaces where people are drawn in, where people of diverse backgrounds, whether it's a banker who's retired or an upstart artist, doesn't matter what their background is, we put them together because they have shared values about regeneration. And they want to have a deeply connected community. Oh, I missed one of the maps. I guess I double clicked. But the idea again is the environment, the social, and the economic all fit together. We will train, mentor, and fund regenerative ventures. Everything you need will be within that community design. Yeah, you're going to leave that community to go to school. And you'll leave that community to go to a hospital if you need it. But those things can be designed in. And in other countries, such as Burundi, one of the poorest countries in the world, those things are included. But in Canada, we don't need it. The core social values that draws our community together, the people who choose to live in this sort of intentional community, are ones of regeneration. The First Nations principle of thinking 7 generations ahead is a perfect example. Anyone who's thinking about how will my children's children live is on the right path. The concept of inclusion. And I don't mean, oh, well, we'll just include them because, that's what we should do. We include people because that's the smart thing to do. Think about all the different skills that other people come with, the abilities that people come with, the cultural nuances that we can draw from, the benefits of age. I mean, a lot of people are like, oh, they're retired. They're not as valuable anymore. Pardon me? When we can start to draw on that and combine the pleasure of life that comes out of blending different ages, you start to realize that grandparents are perfect daycare and young children are the perfect pick-me-up. Like everyone brings something to the table. It doesn't matter where you come from. The more diversity, the stronger your community. And when you blend that with a form of collaboration that isn't based on democracy as we know it here in Canada or the US, where it's actually sociocracy, where you work for consent rather than building consensus. Those of you who've ever tried to build consensus before know what a pain it is. But if you can just say, hey, unless anyone has objections, we're going to move forward in a positive way. Great. Now, if someone has an objection, we'd better listen because that's part of a strong community. And we figure out, what is that objection? Is it a social objection? Is it a hardcore factual objection? Let's figure this out. The system where, democracy, 51% think it's great, kind of sucks for the 49. And this comes back to forms of equity, where we do things like have cooperatively operated and owned ventures. This is particularly important in Africa, where ventures that we set up are 49% owned by the employees, which tend to be women and youth, and 21% owned by the community, who gets to take their share of the profit and spend it how they think the community needs it best, and 30% dedicated to the global advancement of regeneration. Those same principles are applied here in Canada. The core social skills that seem to tie everything together are concepts such as non-violent communication. This is a really fancy way of saying you speak your needs in a non-threatening way, and you listen for other people's needs, stripping away all the other nuances that might trigger you, which ties into conflict management. Every community you have ever been involved in has probably had some form of conflict. And in truth, often that conflict is a source of growth. So I probably shouldn't call it conflict management, but harnessing that conflict in a productive way, it takes out a lot of the chaos of community, particularly if you have contingency plans or ways of managing change, because change is happening whether or not we like it. It's everywhere, from climate change to market preference change to a family just had a baby and their lifestyle changes. It's everywhere, and it throws us all off balance. But when we have, thank you, when we have crisis support, change management, conflict management, and inclusive leadership, where everyone has some input, you have a very solid community. You have very solid economics, and the natural consequence is a fully supported environmental policy. Live the life you love. Save the planet. Let us know how we can help. I'm done.
Thank you, Chad. All right, Professor Rishi Gupta from UVic, you're next.
Thank you, Nick, very much. And good afternoon, everyone. So thank you again, Nick, for having me. I'm a professor in civil engineering at the University of Victoria. And I lead a facility called Facility for Innovative Materials and Infrastructure Monitoring. The name itself suggests the kind of things that we do. Our main focus is on construction and sustainable construction technologies, both for Canada and for the international world. The topic, however, for the presentation today, I only have about 5 minutes. I promised to Nick I'll try and stick to the time. The focus is actually going to be on stormwater management and a few possible solutions that we are working on at UVic. So I begin with a photo that I took almost 10 years ago. This was when I used to live in Burnaby in the Lower Mainland. And you can see the photo was taken just on the street looking out of my home. You can see that there's a little bit of snow here in my yard. And at the same time, you actually see the tulips trying to pop out. So this reminds me that the photo was taken late March, early April. But the reason I show you this photograph is this is an example of the urban environments that we like. So we like lots of asphalt for nice driving experiences. We have compacted gravel, which forms the shoulders on the sides of the roads. And believe it or not, the little river that you see here is actually the sidewalk. And what's happening here is because we have a lot of impervious surface, we have actually created a problem which otherwise would not have existed. So by having impervious surface, we actually have a lot of runoff that we are actually creating. If you look at the quality of this water, the sediment load is very, very high, which means the amount of dirt that it's actually carrying with it, it's very high. So we've created more runoff. We've made the quality of the runoff more poor. And at the same time, the water belongs into the ground. And what we are doing is, rather than allowing the time for the rainwater to penetrate into the ground, we are actually diverting all of this water into drains. So what are the solutions? There are different solutions. And the one particular solution that we have been working on is with the idea or the notion to have a small portion of your impervious surface which is actually made into a permeable surface. So we are talking about MyLivingCity, which is hosting this event today. So I thought I'll actually share with you a couple of things. This is just little snippets from City of Victoria's website. They actually have a rainwater rewards program. And on the website, they actually note a whole bunch of different options from having rain barrels to having bioswales or rain gardens. However, I wanted to point your attention to also having permeable paving as one of the options here. So because time is not on my side, I just want to talk about two very quick projects. This is one that we did about 10 years ago. This is a plan view of a fairly large parking lot, as you can see, a few thousand square feet of impermeable surface. So if you think about the amount of rain water that would be generated after a rainstorm, the quantity would be very large. So what we decided to do was we strategically picked a small section of this impervious surface and decided to make that pervious so that the rainwater could actually go into the ground where it belongs. So this is a cross section of the pavement that we did. So you can see at the bottom there's compacted gravel or rock, and at the top this is what is about 6 inches of pervious concrete. So the idea being all the rain runoff that gets generated on the asphalt travels towards this permeable patch, and this one single permeable patch allows the rainwater to go into the ground. So this is the finished finished pavement, and you can actually see that you actually cannot tell the difference between the asphalt, which is at the back, and the porous concrete in between. So which is great from aesthetics point of view. Very quickly, I'll bring you back to beautiful Victoria from the Lower Mainland, and talk about the second project that we've been working on. And this is the UVic map for those of you who are familiar with the campus. And our project test site, which is actually a living lab, is located in parking lot 6. What we have done here is we've actually come up with a new idea. Many of you might have heard about LIDs, also called low impact developments. And the idea that we have here is with my colleague, Dr. Katrina Vallejo, and I, we coined a concept called HAL, which stands for Hybrid Absorbable Landscape. And our idea here was basically using a couple of different interventions in series. So the idea being you begin by having a permeable surface. The water that goes through the permeable surface is now fed into something else. It could be a bioretention swale, it could be a rain garden, it could be whatever. So very quickly, I'll show you the example. This is again a plan view of what I'm talking about. And the idea is on our test site, we've been studying a few different technologies. So we have, I don't know if you've seen these little grids called grass grids. We have porous asphalt, we have porous concrete. And in one particular section, we also have pavers, which are actually becoming more and more popular these days. The idea here on this site is the stormwater enters through your regular pavement, enters into the porous media, and then what we do is we divert the water that goes out of this porous media into a bioretention cell. So we have 3 of these bioretention cells, and what you see here, this little hatch here, is to show that we are studying the efficacy of native plant species, which are actually very good at phytoremediation. So native plant species are very good at removing the contaminants from the soil. So if you have a whole bunch of hydrocarbons coming from the pavements, the plants are very, very good at helping us remove some of this contaminant. So this is just a before photograph. This is how our site looked like before. This is how our site looks like now. Again, showing you the porous asphalt. This is a particular technology where there is recycled tire rubber that has been mixed with gravel and a resin. So each one of this, and this is an example of the pavers that I was talking about. These pavers were actually constructed with cementless concrete. So again, talking about sustainability, that's a technology that we have developed. And each of this permeable media is feeding into the bioretention cells I was talking about. Again, my colleague, Dr. Vallejo, is looking at the efficacy of plant species in removing the contaminants. So I'm coming towards the end of my presentation. I just wanted to mention that this living lab is not behind any gated communities. So anytime you're up or close to UVic and you can figure out where lot 6 is, try and look for this site. Again, it's not gated. You're more than welcome to come and visit this anytime. And if anybody's willing through MyLiving MLC or otherwise, you're more than welcome to connect with me, and we'd be happy to give you a tour of what we've been doing. Very quickly, just want to acknowledge a whole bunch of people here, but three important people. Dr. Vallejo again for being my co-PI on this project for many years. I want to thank Dr. Mohit Garg, who made the connection between Nick and I, otherwise I wouldn't be here today. And finally, Nick, a great event today. Thanks for hosting, and I guess we'll be doing questions afterwards. So thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Rishi. All right, Tom Hackney from the BC Sustainable Energy Association. You're next.
Hello, everybody, and I hope you can see my slides now. So my name's Tom Hackney. I'm the policy advisor for the BC Sustainable Energy Association, and I'm co-chair of the Victoria chapter. The Victoria chapter covers the Greater Victoria area, so located in the unceded territories of the Lekwungen-speaking Coast Salish peoples. And I'm having trouble making my slides advance. Hold on a sec. Okay, there we go. So climate change is one of the really big motivators for BCSEA. We are a public interest advocacy and education group. We have about 300 members across BC, individuals, corporate members, and we have 4 chapters, and we advocate for a sustainable energy transition for BC. And we're working to educate and motivate people in several ways. Our Cool It Climate Leaders program educates middle school students about climate change and energy and challenges them to take energy conservation actions at home. We have an annual networking event called Energy Connections, currently suspended due to COVID, of course. We intervene actively at the BC Utilities Commission, where the energy plans and proposals of BC Hydro and Fortis and other BC energy utilities are reviewed by the Commission, and we critique the plans and advocate for sustainable energy solutions. And so our local chapters do local engagement. Here in Victoria, for example, we have what we call the Youth Involvement Project, which is linking high school students with sustainable businesses so that they can carry out their volunteer hour graduation requirements in a sustainable energy business. In 2014, we held the Changing Gears exhibition, showcasing for the public electric vehicles and other methods of sustainable transportation. We've held all candidates meetings on energy and climate action, both at the federal level, 2015, and at the provincial level of government. Before COVID came, we had pub night presentations at local pubs on sustainable energy topics, and now we're having virtual pub nights on various interesting topics. Our 100% renewable energy by 2050 initiative showed local governments what sustainable energy transition would look like and encouraged them to commit to that target. So the analysis here was done for the District of Saanich, starting with the totally gray situation for transportation here in 2016, and what would be a mode to shift to sustainable transportation there. We've demonstrated public support for renewable energy and provided that information to the municipalities. And now the 100% renewable energy by 2050 or variants of that target have been adopted by the largest municipalities in the greater Victoria area. And everybody's talking about it and working toward it now. So we see our role as helping to build public support to push our governments to make the big changes we need to make our society more sustainable. We don't think that technology is the big barrier. We think it's our own thought processes, the politics and social values, and are just getting together and becoming motivated. BCSEA is a volunteer-run organization. We welcome volunteers, and we're looking for people who have great ideas how to push this project forward, project ideas or outreach ideas. And you can contact us through the BCSEA website, and I gather Nick will be posting our contact information. So that's me, and I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. All right, next we have Caroline with the NULA project. You're up next.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I am Carolyn with the NULA project. And yeah, so I just wanted to show you this cup. This looks like a harmless little single-use cup, right? Did you know that the average life duration of a cup like this is only 13 minutes? That's it. But you know, you probably think, oh, it's just one cup. Yeah, sure, said millions of people daily. We get it, you know, people are busy, they forget to bring their own mug, or they don't want to clean their mug. So this is why we created the NULA project. The NULA is the Victoria's first reusable cup program, and it's a convenient alternative to single-use cups. So just to show you here, this is me and my cousin Nancy. We got reunited in BC about 3 years ago, and we started the NULA project together. I've been here for 17 years in Victoria, and Nancy for 3. When we got reunited, we discovered that we have common passions like zero waste living, circular economy, and healthy lifestyles. We are from a small town, and talking about Quebec, it's really inspiring. They have their own cup sharing program called La Tasse, and they are at 350 locations across the province. So there's work to do here, and it's inspiring to see that it's working elsewhere in the country. Just wanted to briefly acknowledge the help that we got from Project Zero. And so Georgia talked about that earlier. That's through Synergy Foundation, and we were part of the first cohort in 2019. And it was really helpful. The free 8-month incubator program that we did with them was fantastic. And we also have a little bit of help financially from Vancouver. Take a moment to just look at these stats from, this is a waste audit that was done by the City of Victoria pre-COVID in August 2019. And they found 25,000 single-use items found in the city bins every day, and this is pre-COVID, so I'm sure it's more now. And so 13,000 of them are single-use cup. We keep saying that, you know, we are better than that, and this is why NULA exists, is to have a convenient, affordable, and easy option. How does it work? So it's really easy. You go to one of our partners and you get your coffee or whatever you drink, kombucha, tea, in a NULA cup, and you pay a $5 refundable deposit. And so you enjoy your drink to stay or to go, mostly to go these days, but you know, some places you can stay outside. And once you're done, you can keep your cup, or you can bring it back, get a clean, sanitized one. So it's really safe even during COVID time, or you can get your refund back. We are now at 11 partners in the greater Victoria area. And we have one on Salt Spring, so the Gulf Islands. Our newest partner, you'll see the bottom corner here, Neighborly, It's a brand new coffee shop and grocer at the bottom of Quench, and they just opened last week. So yeah, we're proud new partners of NULA, and our cups are not single use. They can be used hundreds of times, and they're actually sourced through a B Corp out of Vancouver. We are always looking for new partners, so spread the word. Just quickly here, we're working on reusable containers and also reusable glasses for events like farmers markets, and we should be in one this summer. And just wanted to highlight that quote saying that small actions they do matter. I know I'm running out of time, but again, you know, if you are out and about and you see a sticker in a window, that's because they are a partner at NULA. And if you don't see one, please talk to them. Let your favorite coffee shop, restaurant, retailer know that we exist, and they should get on board and to contact us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Caroline. All right, Corey Kessler with the Welcome Gardens. You're up next.
We good?
Yes, we can.
Fantastic. So privileged to be on the same call with everyone here. I'm really excited about everyone doing these incredible actions. I feel like people who like get stuff done regardless of all of our barriers. It's just like such a wonderful thing to be in the same room with you. So thank you for everything you're doing, first of all. And for those of you who showed up to see what's possible. I work for Victoria Immigrant and Refugee Center Society. I work in tandem with my partner, work partner, Sunit Munoz. She's the administrative coordinator and I'm the operations coordinator manager. So we run the program called Welcome Gardens, which is a pretty unique situation within Canada, really, but especially in BC. So we really try and support. Let's see. For some reason, sorry, for some reason I can't get this. My face is across the screen and I can't see my. There we go. So we really want to.
Yeah, we're just seeing a bar across the screen. I don't know if we're supposed to be seeing anything else.
Yeah, there we go. It's like I can't see. So yes, our goal is very multifaceted, and I feel like a lot of the things people have spoken about today really connect really deeply. To start with, really excited about the regenerative situation for the soil at the former racetrack. Our sort of tandem story with our program is we're really trying to shift both our participants and the general public and our volunteers' mindsets around public and private shared land usage within urban settings. I personally believe that after a lot of years in agriculture. Okay, starting again. That's our program motto. It's got like a number of various cultures behind us, Tagalog and Spanish and French, and so many different folks are involved, as well as some Indigenous. So it is a multi-dimensional situation involving lots of generations, lots of backgrounds, lots of input. And so going back to what I was saying, I really believe that local urban land usage is really probably best used for easy to grow vegetables for people who have lower levels of growing skills, and then allowing that land, which has so much competitive use, quality, lots of development, obviously, but also to be able to let it go back to that really essential soil carbon, because we're under 60 years before we're kind of out of the amount of food growing soil we have in a larger agricultural picture. So shifting this food security perspective and educating our newcomer Canadians is a really great privilege that we do with our program, and especially trying to shift it away from a very sort of 1950s to 1990s heavy big ag agricultural perspective, and really trying to like move it back towards traditional growing techniques, as other people have mentioned, as well as making folk who are new to our area aware that Victoria is situated on what used to be this beautiful, abundant, indigenous way of growing camas fields as far as the eye can see. So we really wanted to make sure that we don't like replicate the colonial mindset in terms of this is how you farm, and just try and bring in lots of different perspectives. So as you'll see over the next couple slides,
1 minute left, Corey.
Sorry?
1 minute left.
Okay, we do have a lot of different ways that we're going about showing it. So we do a lot of different workshops. We did some on apple cider pressing. There's lots of other like growing techniques for small balcony areas. This one that you'll see over here on the right is called an Oya. It's a 4,000-year-old technique that allows water to leach into the soil slowly, so you can regenerate soil that's very compacted and is difficult to water. We've been super well supported by our community partners and businesses. Castle especially has been amazing, and lots of tree services with donations of wood chips, and as well as our local municipalities. So we have several different gardens. Oak Bay, this is one that we just put in last fall in the boulevard right outside of our offices. Esquimalt has been quite a journey. We've had a difficult situation with the municipality's regulations around deer fencing. There was some great miscommunication there. So we've had to actually transition this test pilot, which was for a private land share to do make space for immigrants to be able to grow their own food and also have a pollinator garden. And unfortunately that's had to be transitioned. So now we've had a lot of people come, oh, sorry, this particular thing you can see here is a traditional maize that's from Mexico. And it was part of a project that's allowing some of that non-GMO seed to continue resilience because it's going out of business. So we did have a lot of help transitioning our beds. As you can see, lots of big efforts to get everything out of there. There's lots of hands required. And it's going to be
if you want to wrap up with your last slide, Corey.
Absolutely, yeah. A seniors home in James Bay. So we have other stuff going on with aeroponics, different Franklin Green sites. If you go to our website, welcomegardens.org, you can see all of these different areas that you can get involved in. We need lots of different kinds of hands. That's where you can connect with us. Thanks.
Thank you, Corey. Hello, everybody. So now that we're back, so we've got about just under 10 minutes. What we'll do is we'll just do a group discussion. So what I would suggest, we had Slido, but we're a smaller group. So if anybody has a question, just put it in the chat and then we'll read it out and then see who on our panelists can read it. We had a more complex solution, but I think with a smaller group, that'll work just as well. So any questions anybody wants towards any of the presenters, or share any ideas of what you see from the presentation that you might want to take on, or questions of how can we create a more sustainable community. So anything kind of in that vein. So yeah, please type away. And I guess as we're waiting for the first chat to go in, maybe I'll have a quick chat with Corey, because I know you kind of sped to the last bit of your presentation. So
and
talk to us a little bit about aeroponics.
Oh, you're frozen. Sorry?
Oh, I was just asking about, can you share with us a little bit about aeroponics and what you're doing with that?
Yeah, sure. I can quickly pull up the slide if that's easier, but essentially aeroponics is a NASA started way of growing. Plants need oxygen, microbes, and nutrients, water. It can do without soil, although there's some argument that they do better with soil, but there's lots of ways of growing. And so we're exploring high density production with aeroponics as one of our methods. I was saying earlier to Kathy that we have, I think by the end of this summer, we'll have like 9 or 10 gardens. So 2 of the sites will be aeroponic again. One will be at the government house and one will be on downtown in Johnson Street. So that'll be a really cool situation. And we actually are partnering with UBC students and sort of helping to invent some more open source versions so that folk with our type of initiatives and people who are in like more remote communities or may have like less ability to just straight up pay for something or prefers to make their own or modify whatever can have options. So we're really excited about that. It's going to be a huge project, but it'll be great. Last year we grew, so each of those pyramids can house 136 plants, and last year we had 14 of those pyramids running. So tons and tons and tons of tomatoes, along with a lot of other, just pounds and pounds and pounds of produce. And it was all donated to newcomer families, especially like ones with a lot of children, and seniors who are isolated, especially newcomer seniors, because that accessing the whole food security and food banks for them is very difficult. A lot of the foods are relevant to their culture, there doesn't suit their diet, etc., etc. So just kind of trying to meet them and bring them into the whole community and not just like shove them into a box. That's what we're hoping to do with food.
Perfect, thank you. And Shai, quick question for you about your community. Is it a concept or is it actually in reality? Can you just give us a quick update of where it's at with the Nanaimo development?
Yeah, so after 8 years of public work, the community design was put into the official community plan. It has a unique designation in that entire community. We then took the official community plan and put in a rezoning application that actually exceeds all their requirements. But right now we are in line behind a bunch of other developments who are doing urban sprawl. So we have city councilors who are now actively trying to put us in first place in front of all the people who are trying to break the regulations, because we're trying to actually make their community better and model for all the other developments how to do it properly. So nothing's really built yet. We've drilled some wells, we've got the site plans, we've done all the hydrology, all the hard work is done. It's just a matter of working through the regulations.
All right, thank you, Chad. And then Ali, a quick question for you about a proposed gasifier in Uxwiin to deal with plastic. And I guess what do you think of that as a solution until we can really get into a circular economy and we're actually reusing it, not just throwing it away? I wasn't familiar there was going in this Uxwiin, but do you have any comments on that project?
Yeah, I'm not actually aware of this proposal. So if Jane has any info she can share with me, that would be great. I don't really think it's a solution. It's nothing really that we've touched upon, only it's, the biggest thing is with the mass of single-use plastics created, and there's several solutions out there, but they can't keep up to the actual mass of the problem. So, the best thing to do is to reduce the single-use plastics.
Yeah, thank you, Ali. Let's see, and there was, I think, another question about to Professor Gupta about saturation concerns with excess water flow. So, Adrian, I'm not sure if does that give you enough of a question, or from Adrian?
No, that's good, Nick. I think I understand what the question is. So it's a very good question, because what we typically say is the permeable surface at the top is only as good as your subgrade. So it depends on what kind of soil you have. So if you have very clay soil with very low permeability, there's no point putting porous surface at the top, because the soil is not going to be able to absorb all that water. But I think the question was about excessive flooding. So what we usually try and do is, if we take an example of pavers, the finished surface would still have a slope, and we haven't come to the point where you don't need any stormwater drains anymore. So the idea would be you allow the rain event happen with all the water permeate into the soil. But if there is excess soil, you would still have your slope and grade to your finished surface, and you probably have the excess water go into the stormwater drains.
Okay, thank you. Now we have a question for Georgia, and we're just at time, so I'll just close out. So, so I would imagine if she, can you quickly answer, where can someone find out about the FD program on your website, I suppose?
Yeah, so you can find all of our fed restaurant members on the Food Eco District website. We have 12 restaurant members, a few of them including Foo, Agrius, and DAC, but they're all on our website there, and then you can go and see what sustainability initiatives they're working on right now.
Okay, thank you. All right, and thank you everybody for attending today. And especially thank you for our presenters to taking the time and sharing what they're up to, and really acknowledge you guys for, like, you know, what you are doing in your community and the work you're putting in. And what I would just put out to everybody is, you know, what project are you guys wanting to take on? And you guys want to get involved with our presenters, please connect to us. If you've got a project you'd love to share, we'd love to put one more of those on and put you on our profiles. You can find us at MyLivingCity.org. And again, here are our presenter contacts. I'll just leave that there so everybody can grab them. So I will be sending an email out with that information to everybody who registered. And as well, this whole event will be recorded. So we'll have that on our My Living City YouTube channel. So I'll be sending that out by the weekend. And then please, yeah, just get in touch with anybody that you found was of interest. And yes, share with us your ideas of your own very project. So again, thank you everybody for taking the time to be with us and for joining me on this event. It's just been a real pleasure to have you here and hearing what you're all up to.
Thanks, Nick.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks, Nick.
Take care.
Bye-bye. Thank you.